frost on my breath, heart in the chimney, coil in my chest, burning infinity. Deck the halls with a vibe so gritty. Santa slipped by, left jewels in the city. Reindeer tatted, sleigh bells slapping. Hood full of snow, but the baseline cracking. Candy cane stripes on the whip, no cabin. Red nose glow, Rudolph still trapping.
Bottle pop, truth drop, welcome to the show. Champagne secrets, let your power grow. Every video, spark, ignite your inner light. Raise a glass to the future, shining bright. Empowerment is the code, we decode. Unravel mysteries, life's own secret load. Step by step, tap in, find your flow. With champagne secrets, you gonna glow.
Unlock the strength within you, watch it bloom. Life's a canvas, painted every room. Through ups and downs, cheers to what's next. Champagne secrets, life's complex. Champagne secrets, let your power grow. Every video, spark, ignite your inner light. Raise a glass to the future, shining bright. Empowerment is the code, we decode. Unravel mysteries, life's own secret load. Step by step, tap in, find your flow. With champagne secrets, you're gonna glow. Unlock the strength within you, watch it bloom. Life's a canvas, painted every room. Through ups and downs, cheers to what's next. Champagne secrets, life's complex.
A second and let's talk. Yo, DJ, roll that beautiful champagne footage.
Confidants? What is your profession? What is your profession? Nothing but soldiers and empowerment over here.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Champagne gang and visitors to the Champagne City, welcome. You've entered my domain, our domain. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm the Empress, the Fizstress, the woman who keeps the fizz in your facts and the kick in your clarity, the curator of sparkle, storyteller of the unseen. I'm your pusher, baby. Pusher of all things excellence, empowerment, and encouragement. You know, all the things that help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Yes, the guide through the glittering corners of mess and chaos. So raise those glasses, grab your charger, and sit back. Let the bubbles rise and let me tell you what really goes on when the cork hits the floor. Welcome to the Champagne City, baby. Let's toast.
Talking by the fire, but the room's ice cold. All of us a kid, guess it came pre-sold. candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead. Tree lights flicker, but my mind's on rewind. Every I love you now feels weaponized. Eggnog spike, but it ain't numb in the sting. Her best friend took my crown, now I'm the fool king. Sleigh bells ringing, but they sound like alarms. Frosty outside, inside it's a storm. No chestnuts roasting, just my patience shot. Love ain't a present, it's a house of cards. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead.
Champagne gang, peace fam, confidants, and visitors to the Champagne City. Can y'all do me a favor and drop some champagne glasses in the chat or some number ones in the chat if you can hear me okay? Just want to make sure the audio is audioing. And if I don't see a one, there we go. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm the Empress, and you are joining me for grown discussions and bubbly banter. Baby, over here we get classy with a twist, huh? A little clink with chaos with a side of charm. So if you're ready to sip, savor, and spill, grab your favorite glass of bubbly. I don't care if it's water. You know, it's a little bit late. Some of us need to, refresh. Anyway, cleanse our system. Go get you some water so we can hydrate for this conversation. Make sure you have your charger. Make sure you're nice and comfy, because this is the late night rewind. You got your jammy jams on, ladies, PJs, fellas. Now we've had this conversation. And let's get ready to get into it. Make sure you say hi to a few people in the chat, because we friendly over here. And before we do anything, it's time for our positivity and affirmation. So please do me a favor and take that glass and raise it high in the air. Now, y'all do remember, from now to the end of the year, and we only got a few more days left, our affirmation collectively is #push-the-button. Have y'all started pushing the button yet? Have you started writing? Have you started your business plan? Have you started thinking about a business name? I mean, anything. Push the button on everything that you're afraid to start. Push the button. It's time to get started. It's time to go into 2026 already full steam ahead. Push the button. Look at your neighbor to the left or to the right. Look at your screen if you are alone and say #push the button. Push the button. But for tonight, our theme is centered, not rushed. Tonight we choose to stand where our feet are. Not pulled backward by what was. Not reaching ahead for what's next. But grounded in what is. We release the need to prove. We release the urge to perform survival. We let ease be evidence that we are aligned. We trust the timing that brought us here, even when the path didn't make sense while we were walking it. We speak with intention. We listen with openness. We move with clarity. We allow ourselves to be seen without armor, heard without defensiveness, and respected without explanation. We honor the work done in silence, the discipline, the uncelebrated consistency, the moments no one applauded. We acknowledge our capacity to hold joy and responsibility at the same time. We show up centered, not scattered, confident, not rushed. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking for validation. Take your glass and raise it high and repeat after me. We are present. We are capable. We are ready for what meets us right here. And if you believe that with me, let's toast. Y'all see that glass lift in the air? Lift them up. Lift them up. Lift them up. We learning to live in the moment, celebrating where we're going in the future because we're dreaming again. Yes, we are. We're learning to activate our imagination once again so that we can see what we can't see until we see what we see. Get it? Let's get ready to get into the show. You ready? Let's toast. Ladies and gentlemen, confidants, welcome to the Hennessy Zone. Straight talk, no chaser. This place was created for those topics that require, well, a little something stronger than just champagne. Over here, we think and drink responsibly. Now, let me give you a disclaimer. Everything discussed in the Hennessy Zone, all of the commentary is based on my opinion, and it's done so in accordance with the Fair Use Act, which allows for these discussions for the purpose of entertainment and teaching, because there's wisdom to be gained from everything, whether it's good or bad. Now, we don't attempt to solve cases over here, but we do discuss them. And I love to hear your opinions about each of the cases we discuss. So please do me a favor and drop in the comments and let me know what you think about today's case.
Chestnut fire, smoke curling like a snake. Gold ribbon vibes, tight, can't break. The block lit up, not lights but ambition. Reindeer hustle, this grind, no permission. Icicle drip chain swinging so clean. Holidays gritty, it ain't all evergreen. Silent nights ain't silent in the trail. Echoes of the past keep calling me back. Sleigh bells humming, my heart keeps drumming. Snowfall's coming, he got something. Sleigh bells something. Hearts keep drumming, baby this Christmas. I'm the gift worth unwrapping. Snow got a glow. Chimney smoke twisting, hearts wrapped in a bowl. Bass hit the chest like the sleigh riding low. Candy cane veins, red and white swelling. Eggnog courage, my mind stay twirling. Stockings hang loose, secrets in the stitches. Mistletoe shadows, love in the glitches. Frost on my knuckles, cold still intentions, ember decisions.
All right, let's try this. Can you hear me now?
Sleigh bells humming, my heart keeps drumming. Snowfall's coming, he got something.
You can hear me now? That's a 1 for yes. To confirm, can I get a champagne glass in the chat? So did y'all hear the affirmation? Let me know if you heard the affirmation. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard the so you heard the affirmation. You just couldn't hear when I switched to this screen. Got you. All right. So we right on. I said, Lord, if they done missed that whole affirmation, Savior in heaven. All right, here we go. Let's get ready to get into it. So y'all listen. I told y'all that I felt like I understood how we would transition into the Hunger Games, right? I was perusing the streets of Instagram and I ran across this article right here. And it says, y'all here for it? Donald Trump announces the first Patriot Games to celebrate America's 250th birthday. 2 teams from each state, male and female, will compete to win a grand prize. I told y'all I could see us headed to Patriot Games. See, y'all be playing checkers, not chess, clearly because you're not watching how pieces are being moved on the board. When I started seeing celebrities, I need y'all to put on your golden chapeau. I'm going to have to go in my downloads and find out where my golden chapeau is. Put on your golden chapeau now. Hold on. No, I'm going to have to look for it. Hold on. See if I can find it. You got to stop and think about it, right? You're starting to see more and more celebrities be interested in shows like Baddies. You're starting to see more and more celebrities be interested in shows like Now That's TV. Now I need you to stop and think about it. They're not really interested in the show because they want to be on the show. No, they'll come on there as a celebrity guest. Of course they'll do that. But they don't want to be on the show as a fighter. No, they don't want to be like the rest of the girls on the show. They're the money behind the show. They want to be entertained by the show, but they want to be close enough to the entertainment in order to be entertained by it. No, they don't want to enjoy it from a distance. Do y'all remember the movie Purge? I can't remember which of the movies it was, whether it was 1 or 2, but where they had the individuals, they were taking the people, putting them in like a big warehouse building, and in the building they would have people who were paying to hunt them down. You guys remember that? I can see this escalating to that. Because these are the individuals with the money. So they don't want to fight. No, they don't want to be a part of it. But they'll dish out the money to watch you do it. Until they can make you a target that only they win the battle. Y'all don't see it. Y'all still think it's just a cute game, right? This don't sound like life imitating art to you. This don't sound like Hunger Games to you. Matter of fact, whoever wrote the Hunger Games, they need to get their money because you playing in their face strong. You playing in their face and you trying to take their idea and make it yours. You trying to make a real life Hunger Games. That's what you're doing without giving them the credit and bringing them alongside. See, this the sneaky stuff that we don't pay attention to that happens underhandedly. And this is why people end up losing rights and losing royalties to stuff that they created, because somebody just comes out and just switches a twig or two and makes it theirs, and now voila, it no longer belongs to you on paper and in front of everybody else because you're the president. Oh, contraire, mon frère. What y'all think about Trump's Patriot Games? But I want you to hear it from him. So check this out really quick.
In my campaign for president, I pledged to give America the most spectacular birthday party the world has ever seen for America's 250th anniversary on July 4th next year. Already we've had big celebrations to commemorate the 250th birthdays of the Army, the Navy, and the United States Marines, but there is much, much more to come. We're going to have a good time. As we ring in 2026, Americans across the nation will see the iconic Washington Monument illuminated with festive birthday lights to honor the start of this historic anniversary year. Then from June 25th to July 10th of next year, we will host the Great American State Fair on the National Mall, featuring pavilions from all 50 states, highlighting breathtaking innovations and celebrating America's exceptional history and culture. Frankly, you'll never see anything like it, and you'll never see anything like it again. In the fall, we will host the first ever Patriot Games, an unprecedented 4-day athletic event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state.
High school. That don't sound suspicious. I wish I had that clip from Dr. Umar. That don't sound suspicious. High schoolers.
And territory, but I promise there will be no...
Hold on. State and territory. That don't sound suspicious.
Event featuring the greatest high school athletes, one young man and one young woman from each state and territory, but I promise there will be no men playing in women's sports. You're not going to see that. You'll see everything but that. As I first announced in 2020, we will build the National Garden of American Heroes featuring statues of all-time greatest Americans, and we will build a triumphal arc as we celebrate 250 years of American freedom. We are the only major city.
He still ain't told us how these two youths are going to be chosen. Now, I was waiting on him to get to that point, but, in typical Trump fashion, he skips over the important part of the plan. Like, how are these children going to be chosen? And what does this game consist of? Because I think the parents need to know ahead of time, before they get excited about your Patriot Games, what are the games that make them patriotic? Now, we need to have more conversations before you just let him jump on the camera and say whatever he wants to and expect everybody to get excited and just jump behind it because he the president and because it's the 250th anniversary. No, because I saw Hunger Games. I saw it. And you talking real Hunger Game-ish to me. Your game is real hungry. Your game is sounding real hungry hippo right now. So please enlighten us, Agent Orange, and let us know, how are these youth going to be chosen for this game? And what is this game that they shall be playing? Because I'm feeling gladiator vibes right now. I'm feeling gladiator vibes and I don't like it. If I start seeing some jousts come out and these babies ain't been trained, I'm going to have a problem. Did anybody ask questions about this plan? Or was this a surprise to everybody online? Did they know what he was getting ready to say before they push live, before they push the button. The hashtag for the White House needs to be don't push the button. They've been pushing too many buttons lately. They need to stop. At this point, they need to halt on every button they've been pushing. Just period. Consult the people. Consult somebody other than who they've been consulting, because who gave this the thumbs up and said all in favor say aye and everybody said aye? Who were they that put our babies on the line for whatever twisted plan Trump got in his head? Because y'all think this gonna be regular? Or do y'all think this gonna be Hunger Games meets the Squid Games? Like, this is Agent Orange. I keep telling y'all he the wild card. You never know what's gonna come from him. What kind of game is this? I am perplexed. I'm perplexed and befuddled, because I don't know what kind of game he getting ready to introduce to our babies. I watched a lot of the games on Netflix. Squid Games didn't end well. Hunger Games technically didn't end well. They started with a bunch, ended with 2. That's not good. That's not a positive. I know we thought it was cute and we cheered them on, but that's not cute. Now we talking about our babies. So what are you getting ready to introduce to our babies? That's all I want to know. Y'all drop in the comments and let me know what you think Trump's Patriot games are gonna consist of. All right, now let us get into tonight's discussion. So y'all listen, I was on YouTube and I ran across this guy on YouTube, and he was having a discussion about the David case. And in this discussion, he was talking about a group called 764. Now, I had never heard of this group before. When I say never, I had never heard of this group before. So I'm like, is this some kind of, I don't know what, like, I didn't even know how to describe it. Like, is this some kind of, like, is it for play? What? So I had to go look it up after I watched his video. So in this video, he's talking about this is a group that targets kids, and the group has been around for a minute, and it was actually started by a kid, and it's a group that actually attracted predators into the group. This kids group attracted predators and it blew up. So this video that I was watching, and you guys can go check it out on YouTube, it's True Crime with Strategic Eyes, and the name of the video is David D4vd? And I'm still saying, y'all, that I feel like personally that's an acronym for something. And I'm starting to believe that the VD may stand for violent death, violent dismemberment, violent, something with violence and death, something dark. Drop in the comments and let me know what you guys think D4vd could stand for. Because I'm willing to believe that it doesn't just stand for a creative way to say David. But is David connected to 764? Deep dive into the darkest corners. So it piqued my interest when I saw it. And I said, you know, this is interesting. So hold on a second. I said, let me tell you guys hold on. moment. All right, there we go. So I said, let me tell you guys what 764 cult or 764 group, what it is, according to what I found. Now, this is probably going to be a multiple part series in us dealing with this, because when I started to look into this thing goes deep. And I think just discussing who started it is going to take enough of our time. So this is going to be a multiple part thing, discussing 764, how it's affecting our youth on a broad level, because I don't understand why this is not being talked about and discussed more, especially by larger platforms who have an audience and who have the ears of the people. Right? Because this is affecting our children. And I keep saying over and over again, no matter which video that we cover, what's going on with our children? Our children are in trouble. Our children are in trouble. And every time I turn around, we're seeing more and more instances that shows us that our children are in trouble. And as dark as this thing goes, it makes me really wonder how high this thing goes, allegedly, right? So let's get into 764. Y'all got y'all glasses filled, because this finna take us. All right, let me move this up some, so it's not in your way. And I want you to still make sure you have on your golden chapeau. We gotta have on our thinking caps. So, can you move me out the way so you can see our culprit here? This song is such a vibe. Can y'all hear it? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the song. Put a 2 in the chat if I need to turn it up. So this is Bradley Chance Cadenhead, right? So we're going to get into the story on how he developed what is known as 764 cult group 764, right? So we're going to start with his early life to mid 2010. So every story, it says, has a beginning, and this one doesn't start with a crime. This one starts with quiet. Bradley Chance Cadenhead grew up in Stephenville, Texas. It's a town where everyone knows everybody, and being different doesn't go unnoticed. It gets spotlighted, gets picked on. So early on, there was a foundation crack. His parents separated while he was young, and experience later described as emotionally destabilizing. Consistency disappeared, security faded, and once that anchor was gone, everything else felt like it was less steady. At school, he doesn't just act out, he fades out. He's quiet, he's withdrawn, he's socially awkward. The kind of kid teachers barely remember until attendance is called. Peers later described him as isolated, someone who kept to himself, struggled to connect, and became an easy target for bullying, not because he caused problems, but because he didn't belong. And in childhood ecosystems, absence of belonging can be louder than disruption. Now, we know how that goes, Thank you. I like my little teacup girl. Because her cute. But you know how it is when you're young. You want to fit in. You're trying to find your place. You're trying to establish your identity. You have a child who's isolated of that. Not only that, but now they're thrown into turmoil at home because their parents are separated. We don't even know how tumultuous that might have been in the household. This is why we got to be careful of what we exhibit in front of our children. Your children should not see you and your significant other having your heated disagreements. They definitely should not see you being physical unless it's in a playful manner. They ought to be able to know the difference. And they know the difference by what you exhibit in front of them. So you take an individual who's already dealing with a broken home. You put that child in a school with other children who wouldn't talk no damn manners in public. Come on, let's be for real. The child is isolated to themselves. And instead of having someone that's in the school who was taught to take someone's hand and befriend them, he's further pushed away, further isolated, and then talked about and bullied because he's different. Not because he caused problems, just because he didn't belong. So the years go on, the isolation compounds. He spends more time alone, less time forming friendships, and showing increasing difficulty managing stress and emotions. This sounds to me like the playbook for budding child serial killers, if you know what I mean. This sounds to me like a playbook for the trench coat mafia. Like, this sounds like something they could have wrote before they went and did what they did. Because a lot of these stories are the same. Get it? They need to act out this pain on someone. Someone else needs to feel externally what is going on with them internally. And they need to see it in order to feel some sort of satisfaction from it. It's almost the equivalent, and I'm not a therapist, it's almost the equivalent to me of a person who cuts themselves. A person who cuts themselves does it because they're trying to nullify the pain on the inside by what they're doing to themselves on the outside. Hopefully, I can cause enough pain on the outside to nullify or take my mind off of the pain, the thoughts, the voices going on the inside. Instead of doing it to himself, he's exacting it on others, or will soon do it. All right? So let's continue. The warning signs were there, but they were scattered, fragmented. No single moment screams, "Intervene now." And so no coordinated help arrives. Then enters the internet. So at first, it's just escape. A place where he can observe instead of participate, like it started off with a lot of us, where anonymity replaces vulnerability, where distance feels safer than connection. Nothing immediately alarming, but something foundational is forming. Identity, validation, and comfort migrating online. Remember, online, you can be whoever you want to be. That's why it doesn't pay to get gassed up by a lot of the stuff that you see online, because a lot of it, as we found out in months past, has all been a lie and false. All these relationship goals. Then you find out that they in the house abusing each other. All these courses to help you be rich. Then you find out all these people been scammed out of tens of thousands of dollars because what looked good online was all a digital illusion. You can create a persona online and live online through that persona. We see it with everyone who creates an AI character and makes them an influencer. They're living through another persona. They're basically the movie that I keep referencing, Surrogate. They're basically Surrogate, but in a digital world. It hasn't manifested physically yet. So instead of having individuals in his life teaching him how to deal with him, the internet is showing him, but you don't have to be you. You can be someone else. Do you get the danger? Do you get the danger when we don't pay attention to our children? When we don't pay attention to our babies so that we can understand what is going on with them mentally? You're making him a victim. No, I'm not. I'm pointing out to you the problem. I'm pointing out to you the problem. And I'm showing you that the problem started in a home with parents who weren't paying attention in the midst of probably dealing with their separation or whatever was leading up to it. That they didn't realize that their son was escalating into something else. He was becoming, transforming right before their eyes, and they didn't even know it. By the mid 2000s to 2010s, the pattern is set. A child struggling with instability, a school environment that doesn't catch him, and a digital world quietly becoming more important than a real one. The Washington Post doesn't frame this as the birth of criminality, so to speak, but basically as the soil. Loneliness doesn't explode, it accumulates. Get it? This is just the soil. This isn't the plant. This is what produced the plant. Adolescence, when the warning signs get louder. 2018 through 2019. So middle school for him changes everything. More pressure, less protection, bigger emotions in smaller support systems. When you get to middle school, this is when they start to expect you to operate without so much of parent assistance. It's not as much communication with the parent in middle school unless there's something going on with the child. As Bradley enters adolescence, the struggle doesn't resolve, they escalate. School records later show growing difficulty with anger, frustration, and emotional regulation. We could have seen this escalating. Remember, this kind of stuff doesn't just manifest, it escalates. This was an escalation. It didn't start where he ended. It started with the soil, and then a seed was planted through the internet. And it grew, and that growth turned into an escalation. School records later show growing difficulty with anger, frustration, and emotional regulation. He's not labeled delinquent, he's overwhelmed. Oscillating between withdrawal and disruption, never fully landing on either. Do you know why? Because now he's been allowed to create two different personalities that he's able to live between. And because he's still a minor and he does not have emotional stability, no emotional EQ, if not careful, you don't know which personality is the real one. And so they both become real. He has himself, who's isolated, who's bullied, who's dealing with a broken home, separated parents, who's dealing with people picking on him, who's not like anyone else, who doesn't have anyone in his corner. But then he has this online personality where he's able to be whoever he wants to be and doesn't have to worry about being picked on. I don't have to be me when I'm him. Just like some of y'all on the internet, when y'all being bullies. When you jump under posts, when you jump on videos with fake profile pictures, doing Twitter wars, Twitter fingers, on posts, being bullies, laughing behind the scenes because people don't know who you are. And for the most part, some people don't care enough to find out. But you better be careful. You better be careful. Because people's screws are kind of loose these days. Very loose these days. And you got some people that will seek you out. Absolutely right, Progressive One. Parents dropped the ball. His external family dropped. And the school staff dropped the ball. Because why didn't anyone pay attention? And unfortunately, a lot of people, if it's not a part of the job description, they don't care to pay attention. Mental health evaluations happen. The language is clinical. Impulse control issues, distress intolerance, mood dysregulation. Impulse control issue sounds to me like he doesn't know how to control his impulses and can snap at any minute. That's what that sounds like to me. Drop in the comments and let me know what it sounds like to you. Distress intolerance. That sounds to me like he doesn't know how to handle stressful situations. So now you have an impulsive person who doesn't know how to handle stress. Then the third one is mood dysregulation. So his moods ain't even in order. This sounds like a cocktail for disaster in a minor, in a child who is still finding themselves. So you don't even know yourself yet. But you don't know how to control your impulses. You flip out when you stress. And your mood is all off kilter. It's all dysregulated. Which means it can flip any given second. Y'all don't see the problem with this. Translation. He can't manage big emotions, and they manage him instead. But here's the pivot. Sustained treatment doesn't take hold. Support remains temporary, and slowly discipline replaces care. Juvenile probation enters the picture, tied to school incidents. And that shift matters because once behavior is handled legally instead of therapeutically, the window for healing narrows fast. Now stop and think about it. I always tell you, you cannot fix a broken individual with a broken system. Usually when we're having those conversations, we're talking about adults. In this situation right here, we're talking about a child. So you're putting children in jail with nothing set up for them to be rehabilitated. Nobody noticed where this was headed until it got too late. Socially, he becomes more isolated. Bullying continues. Peer bonds never solidify. Adults later describe a teen who is physically present but emotionally disconnected, floating through hallways, not anchored anywhere. So that means mentally he wasn't even there. Like he was just consistently in a haze. Like he was not a fixture in this world. He was a ghost in it, floating. An apparition, not real. Meanwhile, the internet steps in again, stronger this time. It's not just refuge, it's regulation. Online, there's structure without accountability, interaction without exposure, identity without risk. And gradually, the digital world stops being a side space, it becomes central. So I don't have to be accountable for what I do, what I say, how I behave. I don't have to expose who I am with the individuals I'm interacting with. I can be anonymous, anonymity. Did I say that right? Anonymity. Y'all know what that word is. It's not working right now. And I know, y'all know, listen, let's press pause because y'all know any other time since we hit our 1K, any other time YouTube would have had at least by now, and we've been in, let me see, how long we've been in here, let me see, I'm finna check. 25 minutes. No, we've been in here longer than that. We've been in here about an hour. So the hour we've been in here so far, y'all know YouTube would have had about 70, 80 people in here, but it's because of the topic. And this is a topic that needs to be discussed. It does. This is one of those topics that people want to stay away from because it's like, oh, you talking about dark. You talking about dark web. You talking about all, yes, we're talking about that. And YouTube don't want to push it. So that's why we only have a few views, but it's all right. It is okay because we going to continue and we going to be covering this, like I said, for a few different episodes because this needs to be brought to light. Because this is making my spidey senses tingle with a lot of this celebrity stuff that's going on. It's the 2 + 2 is starting to 4. It is. The strings are starting to attach. Online, there's structure with accountability, interaction without exposure, identity without risk, and gradually the digital world stops being a side space. It becomes central. Looking back, the signs are unmistakable. Emotional distress, escalating behavior concerns, minimal peer support, increasing digital reliance. The systems notice pieces but never assemble the whole puzzle. 2020, when real world structure disappears. So by 2020, the last stabilizing force collapses. Bradley stops attending school altogether. Now remember, we're still talking about a child. We're not talking about someone who made it to an adult. This is still a child. And with that, routine vanishes. Supervision fades. Daily human contact disappears. His world shrinks physically, but explodes digitally. Now, mind you, all of this is happening. Where's a parent? Where's a mama? A daddy? We know they're separated by this time, but where's their influence in this? That he leaves school altogether, and there's no word about a mama raising hell or a mama catching charges because her child won't go to school and she dragging them by the back of their collar like their name was the Flintstones into that school door and telling them they better keep their ass in that seat. See, I don't see none of that in this article that I'm summarizing from the Washington Post. I don't see any of that. I don't see a parent saying, my child went left, but I did everything that I could. Outside of chain him in the room so he couldn't get out. I don't see any of those reports. That's my problem with the David and Celeste case as well, because you don't see those reports with Celeste either. You don't see her family coming out either, saying we begged the police to go get my child. We begged this person to let our child go. We marched around the house. We camped outside the house. We put notices on the poles and on the cars outside the houses in the neighborhood to let the neighbors know our minor child is in there with adults and they won't let her out. We don't hear none of that when it comes to Celeste. We also don't hear anything in this story when it comes to Bradley. Get it? Most days are spent alone in his room. Hours blur. Sleep schedules dissolve. The line between night and day disappears. And online time intensifies, not just in length, but in content. I told you he's got two personalities now. He's got the personality that's abused. He's got the personality online that's invincible, that can be whoever he wants it to be. Now he's spending more and more time online, so he's becoming his online persona because he doesn't know how to separate the two. Is this not what I tell y'all consistently about these girls on Baddies? They don't know how to separate real life from reality TV. They mash them together to the point where reality TV becomes real life and the characters become one. So when you tell them to act who they are, they don't know how to act like anything else except their persona on reality TV. We see the same thing here with Bradley. He's merging into his online persona in front of family. He has no friends in front of the school, and no one sees the warning signs. Or if they see the warning signs, they don't think they're red enough to sound the alarm. Now, this is critical. With no school, no consistent adult oversight, and no peer engagement, there are few opportunities for anyone to notice changes. What once would have been flagged in a classroom now unfolds behind a closed door, illuminated by a screen. Emotionally, something shifts. Offline, he feels powerless. Online, he begins to notice how attention works. Shock equals engagement. Isn't this what we talk about consistently? The reason why you see a lot of these individuals doing what they do online is for shock value. But the problem is, once you get that one shock, you get hungry for it. You get thirsty for it. Like sharks with blood in the water. You get excited for it. Now you're looking for the next shock value so that you can get the attention from that shock again. So the next time, I gotta one up what I did this time. Otherwise, the people are going to call it boring. Now, all of a sudden, the thirst on the inside is turning into something else. And it's being fed by something else. Probably 9 times out of 10, something that you don't even realize is stirring up until it's too late. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Hulk. You're no longer David Banner. Because now you're angry. And you ain't gonna like me if I get angry. Now you done said that so long that you stirred up something on the inside of you for people not to like when you get angry. And then every time you get angry, it starts coming out little by little, by little, by little. Till next thing you know, you standing there all green. Tearing up everything. Hulk, smash. And when you come back down, you're turning around and you're looking at all the devastation and destruction that you caused. And you're asking yourself, how did I get here? You let it stir. You let it shift. You got excited. Shock equals engagement. And that's the problem in 2025. It's all about the shock. You don't care what kind of engagement you get, because the shock is going to bring engagement. Good, bad, indifferent, it don't matter. A check is a check. A watch is a watch. A view is a view. Whether you like it or not, shock equals engagement. Let me decide to do a video with shock value. It's going to bring engagement. Anonymity, oh, that's that word. That's how you pronounce it. Anonymity removes consequence. Yeah, I know how to pronounce that word. I was lost for a second. My words wasn't coming together. Extreme behavior gets rewards. Exactly. The more crazy, in the coming week or so, we're going to be covering this story about this idiot who decided to crash his own plane. He jumped out of his plane. He was the pilot. He jumped out of his plane in the air with his plane still in the air and nobody piloting it. The plane crashes. He has on a parachute, but he does it on camera for shock value, for engagement, for extreme reward from extreme behavior. Oh, goodness gracious, alive. It's always in the eyes. He is not even there. So many in this time are being cheated. My people told me I was handsome, did not condone isolation. We watching a movie, Isolate. Absolutely. I said the same thing when I saw him. He absolutely looks like he's not there. He absolutely, to me, allegedly, my opinion, looks like if they wouldn't have caught him when he did, it would have escalated. And I'll just say it like that. And you'll understand as we continue with the story what I'm talking about would have escalated. So let's continue. The Washington Post calls this the bridge. Not yet organized harm, but the moment where distress meets opportunity. By the end of 2020, Bradley isn't just a struggling teen anymore. He's fully embedded in digital environments, primed to amplify his worst impulses. So they didn't give him these impulses. These were impulses already on the inside of him that he wanted to amplify. And these sites that he chose helped him amplify it. The internet stopped being an escape and it became the stage. January 2021, from participant to power. The birth of 764. So January 2021 marks the turning point. At just 15 years old, Bradley creates a series of private online chat servers under aliases. Collectively, they become known as 764. a reference to the opening digits of his hometown zip code. Offline, he has no control. Online, he now has authority. He decides who enters, what's allowed, who stays, and who gets silenced. So early on, the content revolves around shock. So boundary testing, provocation, attention as currency, and it works. Engagement grows, membership expands beyond his age group and geography. And with growth comes hierarchy. Bradley moderates aggressively, removes dissent, rewards compliance. The cultures mirror him, and extreme behavior becomes a badge of belonging. Within weeks, these aren't casual chats. They're tightly controlled digital environments. He spends nearly all of his time managing them. Active late into the night. Identity and administration blur. The Washington Post doesn't frame this as just a group. It's the moment isolation transforms into influence. Visibility replaces invisibility. Control replaces powerlessness. And vulnerability becomes leverage. This is the point of no return. Mid-2021, when influence turns to harm. So the growth accelerates. Oversight doesn't. The network expands across states and countries. And as it grows, the tone hardens. Participation becomes conditional. Loyalty is enforced. Vulnerable users, especially young ones, seek connection and are targeted and manipulated. So this is where it gets dark. Make sure you, hold on. Matter of fact, I'm going to pause for a second while y'all fill your glass back to the rim, because it's about to get a little dark. This is going to have to do with harm to minors. So if that's something you can't handle, you might want to click away from the video. Come back when we're talking about something a little lighter, but we will be on this for probably a few episodes. Okay? One moment.
Midnight whispers, the snow got a glow. Chimney smoke twisting, hearts wrapped in a bow. Bass hit the chest like the sleigh riding low. Candy
One more moment. I'll be right with you.
eggnog courage, my mind stay twirling. Stockings hang loose, secrets in the stitches. Mistletoe shadows, love in the glitches. Frost on my knuckles, cold still intentions. Ember decisions, icy dimension. Sleigh bells humming, my heart keeps drumming.
All right, Progressive, I saw what you dropped up there, and that was good. Hold on, let me put this back up here. It says Christianity. In biblical terms, numbers are sometimes assigned to meanings. Strong's Greek Dictionary entry 764 means to act impiously, ungodly, boldly defying what God deems as sacred. Thank you for that, because now I'm going to look that up. So, Progressive, I need you to send that to me. Send that to me so I can look that up. And I'm glad you did that, because that's the one thing that I did not think to do, is to look up the meaning of the numbers and see what they meant. Good observation. Thank you so much for that. Because it just triggered, because I wonder, did he know this was the meaning before he created this? Or does it just so happen that this means that? Because that doesn't just say to defy what God deems sacred. It says to boldly defy what God deems sacred. That's like to slap God in the face. That's like to basically say, forget what you're talking about. Boldly defy. To act impiously, ungodly. Reminds you of the signs of the times. Absolutely, Nisi. Absolutely. So it says not through force, but through pressure. So now we're talking about the young ones who were manipulated. Again, I said, if you cannot handle discussions about children, you might want to click off, because this is where the story of Bradley and 764 starts getting dark, right? And why I feel like it should be discussed more. And I don't know why major news outlets, CNN, aren't like ringing this from the rooftops, is what I don't understand. But it says not through force, but through pressure, emotional leverage, fear of exclusion. Bradley isn't alone. Others reinforce and escalate the culture, but he remains central, coordinating, approving, setting the standard. This is where the shift happens, from shock to sustained harm. Incremental escalation normalizes behavior inside the group, even as it remains invisible outside, and without routine or interruption, the ecosystem becomes self-reinforcing. The investigation later calls this the heart of the story, how isolation becomes influence and influence becomes damage. So what began to happen in the group is they would take these young people who were drawn to the group because they're young, they're impressionable, quite like he was. They come to these groups expecting to have a group where they can fit in because maybe they're different like he is. When they're in the group, they're forced to do things like cut themselves, brand themselves, harm themselves, harm pets. And they get them to do this through coercion and manipulation and emotional blackmail. As in, I will release such and such and such and such about you to your school, to your such and such, to your family, online and everywhere if you don't. So because you have children who are afraid and don't know how to handle a threat online, whether to know whether or not it's real, should I go tell my parents? How do I explain to my parents that I'm a part of this group? All of that. You remember we watched the series, or we briefly discussed, on our last live about the police officer who had the fantasies about eating women, the cannibal cop. Y'all remember him? Yeah. What do you do when you have those thoughts and feelings and you're a child and you find a group online where you feel like you fit in and you can express how you feel, just to have the people who lead that group turn around and blackmail you with what you poured out in there thinking you were safe? It's the equivalent of you going to AA, pouring out all of your heart. Hi, my name is Empress. I'm an alcoholic. I've been an alcoholic for 30 years. While I was an alcoholic, I did A, B, C, D, E, yada, yada, yada. And having the leader of the group then get online and post who you are, your picture, and everything that you quoted inside the meeting. And these are children, minors, impressionable. And you're putting them through mental, physical, and spiritual turmoil and torment. And they'll have to live with the scars. So, and I'm going to pull up some stuff in a minute because I saw some stuff on Reddit that I want to get into. 2021. We start getting into platform strains. So automated systems began flagging the activity. Reports were filed. Accounts are suspended. Hotlines and law enforcement are notified dozens of times, it says. But here's the digital paradox. Accounts are easy to replace. Communities are easy to recreate. Every shutdown is met with adaptation. The network becomes resilient, not stopped, just disrupted. For Bradley, alerts aren't accountability. They're obstacles to navigate. And by now, the system is bigger than any single intervention. By summer of 2021, the network outgrows its creator. So by summer, the network decentralizes, subgroups form, other platforms get involved. Even users who never interact with Bradley directly reference him as the blueprint. He becomes symbolic, the origin point. And this is key. Influence doesn't disappear just because the person does. Fact. Do you not realize that's how we come up with the term copycat killer? We come up with that term because someone long after a you-know-who is no longer here, they decide to take the legacy and run with it. But I'm going to flip it a little bit on this side. But I like what you did and what you established, but I'm going to make it mine. So instead of doing this, I'm going to do this. Then somebody else see yours and be like, dang, I like the way he flipped it. But instead of doing this, I'm going to add this. Then somebody else come out and say, you know what, I like the way them two did it. But instead of doing this and this, I'm going to add these three values and I'm going to do this. Somebody else come along and say, you know what, I like them all. So I'm going to put them all together and I'm going to run the wham together. And it's going to be this. Now we got all these different sects, but guess what? They're all referencing one person, Bradley, a 15-year-old. Now these groups are no longer just 15 and 16-year-olds and children. Now these are real predators who are starting these subgroups to target children. Progressive said it's definitely giving Manson 2.0, allegedly. Absolutely. Nisi says so true. Absolutely. Because just because you're look at Michael Jackson. Influence. It's still people doing this, the moonwalk. It's still people impersonating Michael. The behaviors replicate. The norms persist. The culture sustains itself. August 25th, 2021. Now here's the problem. It's grown so much, even if you stop one, they're like cells. You ever seen a movie about supercells when it comes to terrorists? It's grown so much now that even if you stop one cell, even if you stop 10 cells, another 10 are just going to pop up in their spot because you didn't stop it at an inception. Now you're trying to stop it when there's an infestation. Law enforcement executes a search warrant at Bradley's home in Stephenville. He's 16 now. Devices are seized, evidence recovered. His role as creator and administrator is established. It's a turning point, but not a full stop. The network doesn't vanish overnight because digital ecosystems don't collapse just because the founder falls. 2023 accountability. So in March 2023, Bradley enters a guilty plea. In May 2023, he is sentenced to 80 years in prison. The court weighs both realities, his youth and the scale of harm. The sentence is framed not just as punishment, but as a message. Online exploitation has real-world consequences. 2024, The Reckoning. The Washington Post investigation reframes the story, not as a monster narrative, but as a systems failure. And in all honesty, I would have to agree. In most situations, I would see stuff like this and I'd be like, why are you making the kid the victim? Why are you making the kid the victim? That kid is a monster. And in some of the cases, these little kids do be monsters. Some of these parents are doing the best that they can with these little seeds of Chucky. With some of these children from the corn who came out with their wires crossed. But some of these parents need to go back in their history and find out what demon that their child is fighting that daddy didn't kill off and they didn't either. They was just strong enough to survive it, but it's tearing their child apart. Yeah. Some of this was born in, but some of this was created. Exactly. The garbage pill kids they created. Some of the that's what I should have did. That's all right. Tomorrow when we go live, I'm gonna make sure I have my garbage pill kids up here. Definitely am. But I agree because this is a system failure. There were signs all throughout this kid's life, from the isolation to the bullying, the nonstop bullying, should have been seen. The fact that no one paid attention to his online presence enough to know that there was a problem is a problem. So, isolation, fragmented intervention, unchecked digital spaces. It's a cautionary tale, not just about one teenager, but about what happens when vulnerability meets influence without guidance. Because confidants, the truth is this: these stories don't begin with evil. They begin with being unseen, right? And this story with him started with him being unseen. Now, I want us to take a look so that you can see the state charges. So, this is what Bradley was charged with. We see his, let me refresh this, hold on. Interesting. Hold on a minute.
Candy cane veins, red and white swelling. Eggnog courage, my mind stay twirling. Stop
One moment. There we go. Now let me know if y'all can see that pretty good or if I need to make it a little wide. Here, let me just make it wider for you. So now, this is his inmate information. So if you see on here, let me make it. So I want you to see this portion. Since it's tripping. These are his charges down here. If you look under the offense history, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks like 8 charges to me of possession with intent to promote child you know what. So I don't know if they weren't able to charge him. And I don't even know how you would charge a child for convincing another child to harm themselves. I don't know how you charge that, but I also don't understand why there aren't more charges on here. However, he did get 80 years for the crimes that he committed. I don't know. There's some people who are arguing, saying that he was a minor. That's too much time for him to have received. There's some who are saying that's not enough time for the amount of children who have been unrepairably damaged. And basically, can you hit a child with a RICO? Because this is definitely a crime organization. I wonder when he turns 18 years of age. Well, he should probably be about 18 now. I wonder as an adult, can they hit him with RICO charges for this stuff? Or would they have to prove that he was the leader considering his sector was shut down and these are branch offs? What y'all think? Do y'all think they could eventually come after him as an adult for what they couldn't get him for as a child? Drop in the comments and let me know. And we're going to get into some more of that because I do want to pull some details. That was just kind of an overview of who he is and how 764 got started. But I do want to get into more details so you can understand exactly why this group is extremely deadly and dangerous, and also talk about some of the other groups that are tied to 764 and what goes on with these groups, right? One of the things that came up in that video that I told you that I watched was the guy brought up David's lyrics to some of his songs, discussing why he feels like David could potentially be a part of 764, which is this group that is stuck on gore. Now, one of the things that he mentioned in the video is that David has spoken about loving gore more than corn, spelled with a P, being extremely turned on by gore. So if you telling me that you love gore more than corn, then what you're telling me is that gore gets you off more than corn does. That you get excited by gore, sexually turned on and stimulated by gore. You need to release when there's gore. is what you're telling me, right? Dark, Nisi. Absolutely. So, looking at his lyrics and listening to some of the stuff that we discussed with 764 that has to do with these children abusing. Now don't get me wrong. They're not a group that seeks to stalk these children. They don't show up in their towns. They're not trying to kidnap them, allegedly, from 764. Now, I haven't fully did the research on the other groups. Now, 764 was basically an online group that targeted children because they took pleasure out of seeing them harm themselves. Right? Because of this, there's a lot of people that think that the lyrics of that David came out with kind of ties him to 764. Maybe he could have been a part of it because it sounds like the same thought process. Also on the screen is you see some messages, and these were some of Bradley's alleged messages from when he was online. I can give you a guide on how to unalive yourself 10 different ways that are very descriptive, since you are too effing stupid and can't do it yourself correctly. I want to watch someone do it to themselves in video chat. You know you're going to go to jail, right? That's manslaughter by web. It's a crime. Have you seen the ish I've been doing for almost a year now? That's what happens when you let a personality go unchecked online, especially one that was created by a child, with no boundaries, no accountability, no mental or emotional stability, just the need to escape their own pain by causing pain on others. Our children are in trouble. They're either victims or they're victimizing. Never in the history of never have I seen a time where children fell into one category or another. They're either victimizing or they're victims. And here we have Agent Orange trying to put them in the Patriot games. 2 by 2. He trying to find his Katniss Aberdeen. That's what it is. So he can get rid of his Cruella de Vil. That's all that is. That's all that is. And what concerns me, Nisi, is it's the children. It's the children. This to me is really sad. Is he a monster? Yes, but I think he was a monster that was created. I don't think he was a monster that was born. I think he was a child that was left to his own devices. He was bullied. He wasn't given a way out. He wasn't told how to deal with his bullying and being different. He wasn't told how to love and accept himself. So he found love and acceptance in exacting onto other people, even if only digitally, what was done to him, maybe physically or emotionally. Because the school said he wasn't a bad kid. He just had a cocktail of disastrous emotional and mental barriers that he couldn't break past. So these are David's lyrics, and we've gone over them before, but I just want to take a look at them so that y'all can see how dark. And David was a minor when he came up with these lyrics. I'm scared. Oh. It feels like you don't care. Enlighten me, my dear. Why am I still here? I don't mean to be complacent with the decisions you made. But why? In the back of my mind, you died, and I ain't even cried. Not even a single tear. And I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. In the back of my mind, I unalived you. And I ain't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. Don't worry about the Sia, because see, I copied that. Don't even worry about them last words. That's not a part of the song. It's not in there. But do y'all see these lyrics? Dark. Why does it have to go to that? At a young age, why are you even thinking about stuff this dark at a young age? This makes me question what's going on with David's childhood. What was David exposed to? How does his parents feel about this brand of music? What their child is attached to? They've been really quiet. They ain't spoke when the music was coming out. That I know of, allegedly. Do you think it is normal for our children to have these kind of thoughts? To write songs with these kind of lyrics? Or do you think that's a cry for help and we need to start ringing alarm and like I keep telling y'all, come to the table and figure out what's going on with our babies? Collectively. Mocha team, caramel macchiatos, cream team, hazelnut crew, Irish cream, Kahlua team, whatever your flavor. Come to the table so that we can figure out why all our children are so dark. The lyrics are dark. They unaliving each other. Unaliving themselves. Our children jumping on grown folk. Our children are dark. But y'all drop in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Again, make sure you please do me a big favor. Hold on. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we jump into whichever sector that we jump into for another show. You know it's gonna be good. You know it's gonna be good. Thank you for joining me for another Sip, Savor, and Spill. Yeah, I'm letting y'all out of here early tonight. Thank you for joining me for another champagne conversation. We're going to run it back again tomorrow night. Confidant. Sorry. Please make sure if you want to support the channel that you hit the Cash App. The Cash App is located in the description of the video. You can also send a super thanks. You can also just hype up the video. You can also like the video or your watch is good enough. Thank you for joining me. Confidants. Always remember, if it doesn't cause you to elevate, baby, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink. Till we meet again. Ta-ta.
Yeah, run it up, ho, ho. Not saying no, say no. Red on my mind, not peppermint blue. Facts, catching flames, now mistletoe, let's go. The red you seeing dripping on the floor, not from my cane. Come on, man, thing creeping, playing dirty games. Got the jingle bells, now I'm slaying names. Turn the chimney to a furnace, yeah, bring the flame. She sipping on that dog, but the vibe ain't merry. Got her with a rother thing, hands all scary. No dog, but the nose got bloody quick. Holiday chaos, yeah, I'm on my Grinch tip. Run it up, ain't no candy cane. Ho, that boat feeling shine. Get the hose with the drama, let it rain. The red you see it ain't from no candy cane. Facts, run it up, twerk through the pain. Ho, got 'em screaming my name. Bass knocking, got the club in the chain. The red you see it ain't from no candy cane. Drumline in my chest, yeah, that bassline cool. Your other thing looking shook, play me for a fool. Now the tree lit up, but it ain't festive cool. Stocking full of hills, gift wrapped in jewels. Yeah, run it up.
Frost on the window, hearts turn cold. Stockings hang limp, no fire in the soul.
Candy cane promises, but they broke in two.
Gift wrap lies tied tight,
But they still see through.
I'm sipping eggnog spiked with regret.
Chestnuts roasting, my heart ain't warm yet.
Snowflakes falling, but it ain't no peace.
Silent night, but my mind won't release.
Sleigh bell dreams, but they don't come true. Under mistletoe shadow, searching for you.
Christmas passion in a winter disguise. Holly on the table, tears in my eyes. Holly on the table, tears in my eyes.
Icicles sharp where the love used to drip. Red ribbon scars from your velvet whip. Carols in the distance, they hum too sweet. While my soul two-stepping on this cold
Concrete, jiggle my nerves with your peppermint lies. Your sugar plum kiss, it was spiked with goodbye.
Santa ain't sliding, chimneys full of ash. Reindeer ran off, took my love with the stash. I'm trapped in a snow globe, spinning around. Every flake of memory that just pulls me down.
Sleigh bell dreams, but they don't come true. Under mistletoe shadow, searching for you.